for 1 month later. Um, Thank you for joining us. If you're not here through Twitch, make sure you go to Twitch and follow us so you can see the live. But other than that, thank you for following us. If you are here on Twitch, go to YouTube. Make sure you follow us and like us there. Get the notifications of when we're on. Podcasts, if you like to listen to those, we're also on Spotify. We're also on Apple, Google, and Anchor. So without further ado, we're going to do WandaVision number 6. A great episode again. Yet again, it just keeps getting better and better. To all the people that said the first 2 episodes suck, please log off. Don't watch the rest. I don't want to talk to you. No, just kidding. No, but no, for real, thank you. Also, I want to say thank you to the rest of my crew here because you guys are awesome. I love seeing articles about things that you guys talked about way before. Like today, I saw an article about Blue Marvel this morning, and Carlos talked about that. What was it, last week or 2 weeks ago?
Last
Two
week.
weeks ago.
No, 2 weeks ago. Yeah. 2 weeks ago.
He hinted it, and then we elaborated on it.
Yeah.
I saw that, and I was like, man, see, I would have never even known who Blue Marvel is. Awesome. I really thank you guys for joining and doing this with me. It's good stuff. We're gonna get into part 1. It's gonna be just our reviews, what we liked, what we didn't like, things like that. Part 2 is gonna be possible theories of how it's gonna go, and part 3 is questions from the group, from us, or questions in the chat, whatever works, whatever we find, and then we'll wrap it up. So starting it off, I'll go with the things that I noticed in this episode as we were watching. One of the main things is just me, personal to me, is the accent was brought up when she was talking to Pietro. Is that she's like, where'd your accent go and stuff? And that just goes back to me not being convinced that it was Wanda who came out of the dome. Because when Wanda came out, her accent came out, and so I'm thinking it was somebody who doesn't know that she doesn't really use her accent anymore. I know that's kind of a stretch, but I don't think that was Wanda. I think that was whoever, Agnes, or possibly, here we go, Mephisto. Who knows? I don't know. But the fact that they brought up the accent, I was really happy about it, and I hope I'm right there. That moves me to Agnes. I don't think Agnes is a victim here. She's playing the victim. She's being crazy, but she's the only one that talked back to Vision. And my wife pointed it out. It's like nobody else talked back. Nobody else said anything. And Agnes was at the edge, the farthest at the edge than anybody else, and she still was able to respond to him. And I think that she's just riling him up. She's just poking the bear. She's like, hey, you're dead. You're dead. Like, she didn't have to yell, you're dead 5 times, you know? Like, so I'm thinking she's still, if she's not Mephisto or anything like that, she's somebody who is trying to push Wanda's buttons, you know? So that's the next thing. Also, talking about people, I'm still not fully convinced Hayward is a bad guy. I think he's just an idiot. Like Monica called it out, like, you're being a coward for the last 5 years. You're reacting to this emotionally, while Monica's over here reacting it to logically, saying, hey, we need to fix this, find a way to fix this for everyone safely, while Hayward is just, we need to kill her. And that's just so stupid. He's scared. I don't think he's a bad guy. Like, all signs point to yes, he's a bad guy. He's gonna be some Hydra shit. I read an article that said he's gonna be something to do with Ultron. I don't know, but I just think he's an idiot. I don't think he's bad, you know. And it's kind of messed up that all the Sword people left Darcy behind, because Sword technically is supposed to be for the people, right? Like, kind of like the police. But then as soon as things went bad, they were like, I'm out. And they didn't even try to help anybody. But the next thing, one of the little like references that I caught was, I liked it when Pietro yelled out, "Go unleash hell, demon spawn." That was kind of funny because Mephisto. Once again,
We don't
Mephisto.
talk about Mephisto.
Okay, the demon spawn. Demon. There you go. And my last little thing that I noticed is just, and we said this last week, Pietro doesn't seem like it's going to actually be Pietro. I don't think it's Mephisto. It might be, but I don't think it is. I read something that it might be. Hello to Tron Dreamer. Thank you for coming in the chat. Anyways, it might be someone called Nightmare. I don't know who that is though, so I'm not gonna elaborate on that. Maybe guys can definitely go into that. I can already tell you're definitely going to go into it. But I feel like a little something that it could be nightmare because of the whole commercial with Yo Magic feeding off. Like I survive off of Yo Magic, your magic. But I don't know. But Pietro is asking a lot of questions, a lot of like, yeah, you can trust me. It's fine. Like I'm your brother. You can tell me anything. But he really wants to know how she started this. Why does he care? Like I don't know. It's very very sus. I don't like to say that, but it's very sus that he's asking about how she started this. And then yeah, he is like a little bit of a dick. It's like, oh, your husband can't die twice. That was that was pretty good. Um, this is the first episode since episode 1 that I've had a negative for the episode. I have a couple of negatives actually. One, and they're little tiny things and probably personal to me, but it's just first one, Darcy. Give me a couple seconds and I'm gonna hack right into this secure network, blah blah. And she goes, and then she's in. I'm like, Joe, stop. That's not how it works. And then on that same note, Jimmy Woo, I don't know, they stole a Humvee, right? Because if they stole a Humvee, Jimmy Woo's like, oh yeah, we can just hotwire a car. And if the Humvees are anything like I remember them to be, anyone can steal them. You don't need keys. You just need to learn how to turn them off. Like, you can't hotwire a Humvee. So that just like me as knowing that, I'm just like, that's too hard, Jimmy. You know better. Vision pissed me off. Vision walking around, seeing everybody just like quiet, not moving, and he already knows that in order for them to come out and talk to him about what's actually going on, he needs to do what he did to Norm, right? But he goes up to nobody's moving. Nobody's moved for who knows how long it took him to walk up that cul-de-sac. And he goes up to the old lady and just like, hey, are these your kids? Like, why are you talking to them? Like, you know they're not doing anything. Come on, man. Just go straight to their head, do your little thing, and ask the questions you need to ask. I was just like, stop trying to build this moment. We already have it. Like, come on, keep it going, keep it going. And then my last negative is something that Matt's gonna go into, but it's just I didn't think of this initially. It took me talking to you guys, but whenever they mentioned Monica's molecular structure, all that stuff, I wasn't too happy about it, especially when I saw that the field was getting bigger. I was like, no, you can't make the field bigger and then include Darcy in that. Because I thought at first I thought it was only going to be Darcy that goes into the dome, and if that was the case, I was mad because I was like, oh, so now you have to give Darcy powers. And then I saw a bunch of other people going in, and I was like, oh, well, now you have to give all these people powers. You can't just say something and then take it back. It pissed me off, not even thinking about mutants or anything like that. That didn't even cross my mind. I was just pissed. I was like, you're gonna give all these random people powers, and that I don't know. Now I'm thinking, oh, the whole world's gonna be enveloped for at least a split second. Who knows what? People that are pregnant. That's one of my questions that I'll bring up in the third part. But my question, I had a friend text me and he asked me a question. And I was like, "You're stupid. Go read a book." But at the same time, I was like, "Oh, wait, that's actually a good point." He asked me, "Are these the first children born with powers in the MCU?" And that we know of, that I know of, yeah, they are the first children born with powers, which is exactly what mutants are. I'm excited. That really hyped me up inside. I was like, oh, it is, and that is kind of a showing you. My wife said if my theory that the whole world is going to be enveloped in this dome, at least for a split second or so, my wife said that anyone who's pregnant at the time will feel those changes. And I was like, that's actually really smart. Instead of like making random adults and stuff, anyone who's currently pregnant would have a baby with the X gene. That'd be badass. In my personal opinion, I would love that. But those are just the things that I noticed, and I'll give it to. Oh yeah, no. Last thing, it's been in our face since episode 3 about this. Like, oh, the whole radiation thing. It's been right there since episode 3 about the whole X gene. Anyways, Matt, go ahead and do your thing.
Yeah, it was a good episode. I actually enjoyed it a little bit better than last week's, but there are, like you were saying, there are things that you can nitpick at it, like either Hayward is the bad guy, and they're really trying to show that, but I feel like it's either they're trying to steer us off or he's the bad guy, because the way they're pushing him, it's either they're trying to convince the stupid people out there that, hey, this is our bad guy, or they're just trying to say, hey, let's make people think that this is the bad guy. So I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, the Darcy hacking thing, same thing. Like, what a shit system they've got if she can just hack in like that. Like, surely something will pop up and they'll grab her and that, but I don't know what's going on there. And then the Jimmy and Monica, if you actually watch that scene, there's actually guards walking past them as they're knocking them out. And I'm just thinking, well, if they're knocking them out there, and I'm sure those guards would be able to see that or hear them. And then the same thing is just hot wiring the car. Like, there's just little things to nip at in this episode. But Agnes as well, like, I don't know. It's like, I feel that they're trying to push Vision out of that circle. They want him out so they can get the body. And I think Agnes is probably working with Sword. I don't know about all these theories about Mephisto and that. But seeing Jimmy fight, that's like the first time I've ever seen him fight. So, like, because they make him so funny and a comedian guy, you'd think the guy can't even fight. Like, I did not expect him to throw a hook and kick ass. I was like, hang on, man, I haven't seen you throw a punch once.
It was awesome.
So it's just little things that just this episode kind of, but you know, it does make up for it. The old school references of the outfits were really good. Like, Mrs. the first time I watched the episode, my missus, I was pausing it, jumping on, showing her the you know, the comics off the phone, saying, "Oh, see, this is what I look," and explaining everything there. Our theories about him being like from the X-Men world, I think, is just a recast, and I feel sorry for the other actor. I don't know if people realize, but they were in Kick-Ass together, him and the original actor, and there was I swear she said Kick-Ass like in one of the lines, and I don't know if they were taking a reference to that, but yeah, he's definitely just a recast, and he's not going to be from the X-Men world. But yeah, it was a solid episode this week, so I liked it. I'm hating these fucking cliffhanger endings. I don't know if that's going to fall on their sword, because, you know what I mean, you keep doing all these great cliffhanger endings, and then the last season of the episode, you need to deliver. You know what I mean? If they don't deliver us something big, ending everything like this, it's going to end up being a flop. But also, lastly, the character development of these two. You know what I mean? They were like, you never thought of them when you thought of the Avengers films and all that. You always think Iron Man, Captain America. These guys were never on your radar. I think maybe they're going to be the next ones to carry on through the next phase and trying to make you fall in love with these guys. And it's the same. I think that's what these shows are all going to be like. They're pushing. These are the ones we want you to talk about and enjoy over the next phases. So yeah, it's good to see they're getting the limelight. And I'll pass it on to who wants to go. Let's go. We'll go Nuno. Hey.
That's what I thought. We have an ongoing beef, me and Matt, but we're not going to discuss that during the podcast. We're going to handle that like men. Somewhere in between America and Australia. We'll meet in the middle somewhere. Hawaii, I'm assuming. Anyway, hey, this episode was pretty epic. I mean, even though my rating is going to be dropping a little bit from last week, spoiler alert, but I enjoyed it overall. I loved the Malcolm in the Middle beginning, and I loved how the kids broke the third wall, they talking and stuff. So I feel like that's a little bit of an intro to Deadpool, too, because Deadpool's going to be doing that a lot. So they're giving us a taste of that, and it's going along with the theme. I really liked how Vision was like, oh, there's nothing in here but Halloween clothes. Oh, but don't worry, like, I liked it. You know what I mean? And she's like, oh, okay, honey. So that was really cool. I like that. He's already catching on quickly, and he's learning what needs to happen. It's kind of like one of those like horror movies when you're waking up every day and your day is the same, so you try to do different things. So I feel like that's kind of what's happening to him. He's waking up every day. Some things are the same, some aren't, and he's just trying to, go about it. Pietro was pretty cool. I like the X-Men references, like the original costume, from like the Brotherhood. I like how one of the kids levitates towards the brother. Boom, like he gets speed powers all of a sudden. And how another kid levitates to his mom, and boom, all of a sudden he has her powers. So like they manifested powers, really whatever they liked, like at this point. In my opinion, if there was like Wolverine or a Cyclops, they could have manifested like shooting beams or claws. You know what I mean? Because that's how powerful it was in that dome. I really wasn't enjoying what was going on outside. I have to totally agree with Matt and Manny. it was totally like, don't get me wrong, I always like to see the underdogs that are not superheroes win, because that's why I'm a big fan of The Boys, because you get to see a bunch of humans kicking butt. But it just didn't seem realistic. Like they're beating up everybody, stealing a Humvee, and like the first thing I said, she's hacking like top flight intelligence in like 30 seconds. But my wife said she is like a superhero hacker. Like if there's, you know what I mean? So she is like a hacker. You got to admit that though. You know what I mean? In this universe, she is like that superhero hacker. So that's that. I loved seeing Vision get snapped away, because we didn't get to see him actually get snapped away in a snap. He died. So we got to see him kind of like falling apart, which was kind of like a snap reference to me. Like he was snapping away. And I like that he only cared about the people inside. He didn't care about himself, which almost makes you believe that he's come to terms with being dead. He just needs to get these people out. So he's saying help the people. He's saying help, and you're thinking like, yeah, go help Vision. Nah, don't help him. Help the people inside. He don't care that he falling apart. But I have a few more here's and there's, but I'm gonna save it to mix it into the theories, and I'll just pass it on. I'll pass it along to Nick, and
All right,
let's go.
let's get it. All right, so let me pull up my notes because I actually wrote notes.
Gotta start doing that.
I personally really enjoyed this episode from beginning to end. Like, and like I didn't know what to expect in this episode. I liked them all except for the first two, but that intro and like how they broke the third wall, like how Nuno mentioned, dude, I was like, okay, I'm in this. Like, this is so cool. Um, I really enjoyed, the Halloween costumes are so like on point and really like I know we've known this was gonna happen because it's been teased and they've made, pops and stuff about it and we knew, but we didn't know about like the kids. And the fact that, you know, they're wearing Wiccan and kind of Speed's costume. Like that's not it's just kind of like him mimicking Quicksilver, but but Billy is wearing the Wiccan costume. He's got the Wiccan costume on, like dead ass, like that's his costume when he becomes a superhero. And the fact that they develop and show their powers was really cool. And I liked like the character development with them was really quick, but it was also really precise. And
Yep.
the way they built these kids up was really good. And I really enjoyed that they aren't like carbon copies, but like they have really nice personalities and it's really fun to watch them because they add to the plot and it's really interesting because they could just be like, Mom, Dad, I can run. Like like it's really cool how like they're taking notes from their characters, but they're also like, being utilized properly. Um we finally got to see the depth of what is really going on with the dome because we haven't really known how big the town was and how big the dome was, and we finally got to see how this is a huge town. This is like a city almost. This is like a huge. This isn't just one like small little village. This is a big area. Like I didn't realize how big, and we get to see like what's going on around the border and how the farther you get away from her, from Wanda, the she's still controlling the reality, but it's kind of like, okay, I've changed this, but everyone's just kind of paused. There's no activity. Like, but these people are still suffering. And like I said last week, like you're here, like we saw Norm suffer. Like you're really seeing these like the people, the lady cry. Like you're really seeing the impact of what is going on and how it's affecting people. And I thought that was really interesting because we, to this point, like as episodes have gone up, we've gotten to see more and more of the town. And obviously, this is the first time we've seen any of these kids. So where have these kids been? Has she like just kind of wiped them and then she brought them back, or did she create them all? And Pietro mentions that. Like it's very strange how that now that they're using Pietro to poke at the holes in the theories.
Yeah.
But I also really enjoyed how they tied Pietro's recast in. How they're like, well, I remember getting shot, and then I was all of a sudden you called me, and I was hearing this body, and like I thought that's like a really. It's still I have a lot of questions, but it's still a really good way to play on um this whole thing and this recast and explaining it, because like obviously we thought, oh, maybe this is going to connect it to the Fox movies, but thinking that like his soul just kind of got swapped or whatever, or he got reincarnated, or however she pulled him, pulled his existing body from this universe and his soul from that universe, and whatever. It just added a little bit more like what's the word, added more layers to it, and it wasn't just like, oh, like it's just the guy from the X-Men movies. It added some more character development. And what else did I want to talk about? I talked about outer areas, talked about the Wiccan.
Hey Nick, what did she call Vision? She said my suit is like a traditional like Soviet whatever
Yeah.
outfit, fortune teller. What was
Victorian-
Vision real quick?
I
He's
can't
a Mexican.
remember.
Mexican yeah.
Oh, okay.
What?
Le gusta carne con chile.
All right, a luchador.
Yeah.
The other thing was, okay, so obviously Vision, we're getting to see the Vision knows what's going on, but like it's still like having to fight off Wanda because he's not a real human being. So I guess it's allowing him to really see through the ruse, but he's still having to fight through it because of how much power she's putting out. But I'm not gonna, I'll wait for the theories, but I want to know, who the heck is Monica's contact? Who is her contact? I'm pretty sure, like the director of Sword. I'm pretty sure this is AIM. This is AIM. I'm pretty sure he's taken Sword, and this becomes AIM or is already AIM. And the other thing I want to say before I hand it off is about the neighbor. What's her name? What's her name?
Agnes?
Agnes. Pretty sure we all been like, oh, she's Mephisto, and I even said it. Maybe she's Mephisto, but I'm pretty sure she's not because of what went down. But I think she's some other character, and that's why she's able to fight it. But I'll wait until the theories because I got I got like 3 major theories, so I won't spoil anything. But I'll move it on. Who's going next?
You gotta call them.
All right.
This is like it's
Carlos.
like when you're in elementary school and you're playing dodgeball.
So I actually really enjoyed this episode, and the reason being is because Marvel is not holding back in addressing all of the questions that I think they preemptively knew that people were going to have. Starting off with Quicksilver, right? The moment that he was introduced in last episode, we thought, is he Quicksilver? Is he not? Is he gonna use his powers? From the opening scene, you see him speed into the house, and that immediately, got me to thinking, holy shit, he is Quicksilver. He's using his powers, and we got to see that from the very beginning, and I enjoyed that. This episode doesn't feel like a filler because, again, it's addressing a lot of those questions or thoughts that we had as fans. Introducing the Wiccan costume, and like Nick said, not really the speed costume, but basically it is. I mean, just throwing that from the very beginning is big, and I can't really think of a show where you just get more and more stuff without having to wait 6-7 episodes, and it just feels like Marvel was just packing on, the action, and just packing on all of these. I guess you could say, you know, I'd say fan service, I guess, in a way, and I really enjoy that about this episode. Another thing that I enjoyed about this episode is, like I've been saying from the very beginning, when the show felt like it was corny and that it was just too friendly or too, like I guess cheesy.
Disney.
Yeah, from to a Disney, from the very beginning, you start seeing those layers of that uneasiness, that there's something sinister and something just not quite right, uh below the surface of what's happening, and you see that, I think, in this episode, where it has the highest impact, where it just has like a gut punch. When you see people stuck in loops, you see some of the people in town, crying silently. Like, that's some disturbing, stuff. Psychologically, I can, only imagine what these people are going through. And it's this idea that, Wanda, in a sense, she is kind of losing it, and she's not really thinking about how this is affecting all of the people in the town. So I really enjoyed that we're seeing this dark path, and that we're seeing, uh the real cracks in this perfect reality that she's created. So I really enjoyed that. Another thing that I enjoyed is that it's set that each episode, including this one, sets up so many more questions, but they're not questions that make you feel frustrated. Because a lot of times in a lot of shows, you end an episode and you think, man, I have so many questions, but they don't make sense. Nothing's getting answered. I feel like Marvel's providing answers and setting you up for questions that you get excited for. Um, some of the things that I noticed in this episode, now looking back at the previous episodes and the previous commercials, the commercial in this one with the what's the Yo Magic, right? I think it was called. What I noticed is that the commercials are almost like a timeline, or I guess a moment in Wanda's life where she's had major events. The first commercial, where it was the toaster commercial, I, I still think that signifies, her being trapped underneath the rubble with the Stark bomb waiting to go off, and that had a huge impact, which made her want to get revenge, on the Avengers, join Ultron. The next commercial was the one with the watch, the Hydra watch, and that was basically, the time that she spent under Von Strucker, where she developed her powers, and how she was used basically for experimentation. And then you jump to, the episode where it was what was it? It was the
Bubble
spot,
bath.
the bubbles.
What?
I thought it was the
I
the
can't remember.
yeah, it was
Bubble
the
bath, wipes, and then the shark.
exactly, it was the bowl bath, and that was her, kind of cleansing herself of the influence that Hydra had on her. And then you get to the wipes, and the liquid was specifically red, and that signifies the event that ended up happening in Lagos, right, where she first, kind of ended up losing control of her powers. And now we get the Yo Magic commercial, and that was disturbing. You know, it made you feel uneasy, and almost that, witchcraft kind of, thing. And I think that this signifies her losing her grasp on reality because of the grief that she's feeling. And no matter how much she tries, to, feed herself in a way, she can't quite actually, bring herself to uh you know find happiness, find that, nourishment, I guess. And
Here,
that
point, Carlos, Tron Dreamer here is saying that her brother told, or their brother told them that the commercials would be part of Wanda's conscious, and that maybe that's a part of them that she's remembering from the past, part of stuff that she's remembering from her past.
exactly, yes, exactly. And I think that all of that, ties in. And he has, or she has, an extremely valid point. And and that's kind of where I think that the commercials are, coming from. So I enjoyed that, and I think that it's just creating an overall better picture of, where Wanda is and where she is heading. And I think that she is heading towards the path of maybe not a House of M type of, event, but the fact that this barrier and this, reality is only getting bigger. I think that that's setting up the possibility for, a crack in reality. And there's a lot of theories that I have, regarding that. So I can't wait for that section. Just some of the questions that I have for later on are: who was the, person in WITSEC, in witness protection, that Jimmy was even there to like find out what happened to them. Why is it that they got a distress signal, and the fact that they ended up being in the exact spot that Wanda happens to be with. That can be a coincidence, and I feel like with so much happening, everyone's forgotten and everyone's put that on the back burner. But that's one of the biggest questions that I have. Um, I have a theory regarding Vision's body, but again, we'll get back to that later. I'm very interested in this cataract program, so I have some theories, behind that. Just some of the observations that I saw, and kind of like was it you, Nick, that mentioned Agnes, making it towards the
Yeah.
end, and yeah. So I'm completely with you on that. I don't think she's Mephisto. I don't think that she's a villain. I really do think that she is gonna,
Well,
be
I think she's a villain, but I think she's like an anti-hero kind of character. I don't want
okay.
to
Gotcha.
spoil who I think it is.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
wait.
all right, cool. Gotcha. But I definitely think that there is so much more to her because of the fact that, like we mentioned in previous episodes, she's the only one that notices what's going on without having to be without having Vision break, I guess, the reality or the spell. Um, and she just notices a lot of things, and I think that there's
She
a lot.
also doesn't talk much different when
Mm.
Vision went like this, where Norm
Exactly.
completely had a completely different personality.
Exactly. So that's one of the observations that I had. But overall, I really enjoyed this episode because again, it just keeps on building that hype. And it just doesn't feel like a filler episode. I feel like it adds, to the overall journey that Wanda is on, and just opens you up to, wanting to have more of these questions answered. So yeah, overall, great episode. Carlo, what do you got?
Finally. So I'm gonna start off with the outfits. I think if this was made in the 70s, that's the type of outfits that they would have. So it's like it's not low budget, but it's like Spider-Man from the 70s costumes where it's kind of um I love the Monica and Jimmy fight scene. I was not expecting that. That was like I mean action packed, something that this episode lacked. It wasn't a filler, it did move the story forward, but yeah, it was kind of slow. It didn't make me jump out on my couch like last episode. It did make me chuckle a couple of times, but nothing too exciting. I love that cheer, like that lady. She's like stuck and doing this with a clothespin, and she's like crying. That was totally creepy and awkward.
Just on that part, sorry, did you just notice the guy behind her putting the
Yeah,
pumpkin?
with jack o' lantern. Yeah, I noticed. I noticed that the second time I saw it, not the first time. So that had like Get Out vibes. Get Out was a wonderful horror movie, and that was like totally. It's like, oh, that's pretty cool. I saw that X-Men. I sent it to you guys that scene where Pietro goes through the house and he's like so cool. He even has that 80s song and he's doing the moonwalk and he's taking a sip out of the can, like showing how fast and cool he is. And it carries on to this episode. The kids, they want to be like him. They say, oh, that's cool. It's not lame. And then the kid changes his mind. Yeah, that is kind of lame, but they want to be like Pietro and just like he's so cool. The kick-ass reference, I knew there was something there. I had to Google this. Like I don't get that reference, but there's something there. So that was pretty cool that both actors that played Pietro were in the Kick-Ass movie.
Yep.
So Agnes, she's at the border of the dome. Why? Why? I'll tell you why. Because she just wants to lure
I'll
Vision.
tell you why.
She wanted to lure Vision out there because she's.
Pushing buttons. Doing it.
I'm not convinced that she's like she was faking it. So she was maybe she's working with Hayward. They want to use his like weapon capabilities. That's why Hayward was tracking him. He's not tracking Wanda or anybody else. He's just tracking Vision because they want to use him as a weapon. When Wanda had those red eyes, when she closed her eyes, I got excited because I thought she was going to go full Dark Phoenix mode. But you don't go full Dark Phoenix mode yet. You say that for the later episodes where it's like closer to like that's like season finale type of stuff. So I was kind of let down, But you know what? I'll be patient. I'll wait for when she does go full Dark Phoenix mode and she tears everybody up to pieces. I just dropped my phone. That's okay. Uh, so Darcy, yeah, I agree that her superpower is like Oracle. She's like a computer hacker, and that's like one of like
Well,
Oracle's in
could
a
be
wheelchair.
Sage.
She can't do much, but she can hack any freaking computer. She's like badass. And same with Darcy. I don't like her. She's annoying, but that's her superpower. So in the comic books from like the 60s, Wanda defeats Dormammu, that guy right there. And then never mind, I'm jumping ahead, but that's kind of part review, kind of theory, but I'll say it now, but it's not really theory. But Dormammu defeats Wanda. I mean, Wanda defeats Dormammu, but then Dormammu like uses Wanda as a puppet. He has her in her control. So I think that Dormammu is behind the scenes because he's like in the comic books from like the 60s and 70s, and I think it just makes more sense because never mind, I'll say that for the theories. And that commercial, it made me feel uneasy, like when that dude was choking Vision's boss, like stop, stop, stop. It's like, oh, that's kind of awkward. It's like I feel weird watching this, and it's the same with that commercial. Like, why is this boy? He's dying. Boys aren't supposed to die on TV, and that's like kind of creepy. Let me see. Oh, Zombie Quicksilver. That was pretty cool. I called it kind of. I said there's gonna be more zombie people because Zombie Vision was so cool, and like, yeah, that was amazing. And yeah, I was kind of excited about that. And I bet you there's gonna be at least one more zombie like person in the future. And yeah, so the mannequin challenge at the end. So everybody's like the people at the edge of the dome, they're frozen. Why is Agnes not frozen? So that goes back to my theory, which I'll save later. All right, the end.
You guys kind of reminded me, Nuno reminded me of the whole. I'm not gonna lie, like I got emotional when Vision was saying like help, and then as soon as he says help, I'm thinking he's like help me, but then he immediately is like there's people that need help, like go help them. As he's dying, like that's his last like dying word and stuff. That's a true hero right there, And Darcy as well, Darcy's over there, help him, help him. Like they are making very evident who the true heroes are in this world, in this setting right now. Everyone else is just, as soon as things go bad, they run away. Hayward immediately booked it, you know. But Vision saying help, and then we go to the scene where Wanda just like stops everything and increases the dome size, like all of that. I got pretty emotional, and she is, once again, she's still hurting. She's in grief. Like she's not getting out of that phase. She won't accept it. She's not even bargaining or anything. She is just denial, 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 and that got me. And I did notice a reference that I was hoping maybe you guys would see it, and I'm thinking 98% of viewers did not catch it. I think I'm maybe the only one who caught it. I think I'm that great.
Ooh.
Or you're the only one that researched it on the internet.
No, we got a DC Comics character, Clown Hunter, in that show.
I didn't see that. I'll be honest.
No, I'm fucking with you guys. But it is. So if you go to 2251, where she sits down in the middle of the town square or whatever, and she talks with Pietro. If you look at the background, there's someone wearing like a helmet and has a whole like fin thing, like Clown Hunter. And I was like, is that Clown Hunter? Obviously it's not. It's
I gotta check that out.
But check it out. And also like it just it's a great scene to go back to with the whole Pietro. Like once again, my wife gasped when she saw zombie Pietro. But that does lead us into part 2, which is possible theories and where we think this is going. And I don't really have much other than the nightmare thing, which I hope that you guys can explain a lot more into detail because I cannot.
Take it, Carlos.
And
So, go for it.
But before that, let me one thing that I know. This is my crazy theory that is never gonna happen. But if it does happen, you heard it here first. Jimmy Woo is a bad guy. calling it.
Not
He's
possible.
No,
No,
no.
not a
What?
chance.
Make it
Not a
pumpkin.
no,
chance.
you can't be.
trying so hard to get into this town.
No,
No,
you can't be.
you heard it here first. But no, who's Nightmare? What's going on with Nightmare?
So I'm not super versed in Nightmare, but just from what I've read and from the storylines that he's popped out from, he's actually the ruler of a dimension called Dream World. And honestly, I haven't read anything about him about the theories online. But now that you bring that you brought it up, immediately I thought, you know what? It could be him because his whole thing is that he feeds off of the psychic energy people in their unconsciousness. So like when you're sleeping, dream world, all of that stuff. um and I think that maybe what's happening with all of the people that are stuck inside of the dome, in a way, they are kind of in a nightmare. They are kind of in a dream state. So it could be that he somehow crosses over into our universe, or he's feeding off of their energy in dream world because they are stuck in that kind of unconscious state,
Using
Sounds more
Wanda as like an amplifier.
and using Wanda as an amplifier. Exactly. Sorry, what?
I was asking. So he becomes more powerful as he takes this psychic energy. So maybe he's trying to get
Yes.
into our world. Okay.
Exactly. And that also made me think, you know what, he could be using um uh Agnes, Agnes as a conduit. And that's why in terms of communicating and interacting with, the people in Westview and Wanda, which is why she is more aware of what's happening. And kind of like you mentioned, Manny, like pushing buttons, making Wanda kind of relive or be uneasy around her because of the questions that she's asking, which only leads Wanda to exert more of a control over the reality and the people that are there.
And
And
Pietro's doing the same thing. He's over there like reminding her about the dead husband, the dead brother, and everything. Like it's just constantly pushing buttons.
yes, exactly. And as I was thinking about it, I don't know. He could have also has something to do with the recast of Pietro, because again, Wanda was extremely surprised that he showed up at the door, and I don't think that I don't think that it's just a coincidence that we just happen to see Evan Peters being recast as Quicksilver. He does have that conversation with Wanda that he remembers being shot. He's clearly aware of what happened in the past, and we even get specific uh Avengers film showing uh
The
uh,
past
uh
actor.
yeah Jason Aaron Tyler as Quicksilver. And that's why I think that there's more to it, and it would honestly be a disservice, I think, from Marvel's part, to, out of all the people and out of all the actors that they could have chosen, to choose Evan Peters, to be the recast. There's no way, with how Marvel is doing everything right now, how much fan service they're giving us, how they're just being direct about the costumes and the powers. I just don't see them pulling this kind of, I don't know, I guess, cop out or like a cheap, kind of casting. So I think that there's more to it there, and it's gonna have something to do with a break in reality. And Nightmare could be part of that. Maybe Nightmare, Dormammu, and Mephisto could all be teaming up together because of the fact that Doctor Strange, and this movie is going to tie into that, has to do with alternate dimensions. They're all from different parts
Yeah.
of, they're all from different dimensions. They're all reality crossover type of entities. So I don't know. Maybe it is Nightmare and it has to do with it. But anyways, that's just a quick rundown on why it could be Nightmare. And that's just a little bit of background on him. Basically, he's just a dude from the dream world dimension, feeds off of people's psychic energy, and the particular realm that he's from. I think that you pronounce it ever Everine, I think. Everine? I don't know, but that's basically his like, homeworld. So yeah, quick rundown on that.
Do you have any? Well, actually, yeah, Matt. What are your theories, man? Here we go. Matt's corner. Right? No, no, no.
Oh, and you know what? I just noticed something from Tron Dreamer, and this is something that I thought about too, but I forgot bringing up. Is that Wanda does mention that she doesn't really know or how she started controlling the townspeople, and she does mention that, and that's big.
Yeah,
The fact
multiple
that
times in the last like 2 or 3 episodes.
yeah, multiple times. She doesn't remember how it started, but she knows that she's in control to a certain degree, and I think that's really, really important point.
But
That
in the comics, she's lost control of her powers before, so
yeah, um, yeah, for
Well,
sure.
that's double standards, all right? Because let's just put it this way. Why? Right? Double standards. When Agnes says, he parks the car and's like, oh, I don't know what it. Everyone's like, oh no, she knows exactly what she's doing. She's playing everyone. She's no. But then when Wanda says that she can't remember, everyone's like, oh no, she doesn't know. She doesn't remember. What's the difference?
Back off.
What's the difference? That's my question. What's the difference? Wanda is the villain. Wanda's the villain. Wanda is the villain. All right. Now Agnes was parked out there, right? Because she's working with Hayward because they're trying to push Vision out of the thing so that they can get him and they can build Ultron using Vision. That's what they're trying to do. That's my whole theory. Now, whether Hayward's Mephisto and he's trying to create Ultron to work with him, I don't know, man. I just think Marvel's just doing all these things and they're trying to throw everyone off. But I still am sticking to the guns that Wanda's going to be a villain. I could be wrong. I will be probably wrong, but I'm sticking to that. I reckon Ultron's going to be somehow involved. Ultron's getting made or something. But this bubble that expanded and Darcy got sucked in and all that, this is how they're introducing the X-Men. I straight away, as soon as it happened, I don't know if I messaged the group. I'm pretty sure I messaged the group and said, hey, is there a character in the name Darcy in X-Men? Because I don't know my X-Men or anything, but I just think this bubble is going to be their way of introducing in the mutants. Like Nuna and I were discussing, could be the kids, all that are there, could be the New Mutants, whatever. I don't know, but I think this bubble is creating the mutants. This is how they're going to bring them in, how they got their powers or whatnot. But yeah, I'm even going to throw another theory out there that Hayward will have something to do with, or Sword. Well, I'll be wrong, but I'm just throwing it out there like Manny's clown hunter thingo. But I'll tell you, I reckon Wolverine. I reckon they're making Wolverine as well. I think it's going to be their way of they're making Wolverine or something. I'm just throwing out all these crazy theories because hopefully one of them latches on and I'm actually right. But yeah, man, I think Agnes. I don't think Agnes was playing, to be honest. I reckon she was serious, that she didn't know where she was. I think she could also be a goodie. I don't know. All I know is Marvel's just freaking throwing everything at the wall and just causing all these freaking mix-ups. But I do think we'll see Ultron. I don't know about Mephisto, and I think the X-Men will be created by this bubble. And if I'm get not one right, I'll say it. A dare from each one of you boys. I'll do it live on the stream as long as it's not going to get me locked up or killed. I'll do a dare each, and I'm a man of my word.
So
no, Carlos, yeah.
So I want to jump in real quick with my theories. And the biggest theory that I have revolves around Monica and her powers.
okay.
And
Here we go.
I agree with the fact that the dome is gonna have something to do with potentially introducing the X-Men. But this is why. So we know that her, blood work is that her blood is changing because of the blood work and the tests that Hayward was running, and that she's changing when she was introduced to the cosmic radiation. I think the twist is going to be that it was the cosmic radiation that ended up activating her dormant X gene. and that in this universe she's actually
is she a mutant in the comics? No,
not
right?
not.
No, they weren't allowed to call her a mutant. That was the deal that they made with Fox at the time, that they weren't allowed to use the word
No, I mean
mutant. They had to
I mean
use
in the
something
comics
else.
for
Yeah,
Oh, the
Monica.
yeah.
comic.
Yeah, in the comics, she's not immune, but I think that potentially in this universe, she's gonna be introduced as a mutant, and that this X gene has been, like again present, and that her being exposed to this traumatic event activated that X gene. Because in the comics, a lot of the times, the reason why the X gene gets activated is because of a situation in which a person is stressed, right?
Yeah.
It it typically came when you became like a teenager and you were under immense stress, or you were triggered by some kind of traumatic event. And I think that this is what's going to activate her X gene. And the dome specifically, now that Wanda is making it bigger, when she ends up just losing absolute control and her powers end up basically affecting the entire world, I think that's what's going to activate
It's gonna blow up. The bubble's gonna blow up, and it's gonna just go around the world real quick. Bang.
exactly. And that's going to
We're on
activate
it.
and that's going to activate the X genes. Maybe my theory is way too out there. It's too crazy.
All right,
But
I can siphon it
but
down.
But really quick, what I find extremely, extremely, just weird is that Monica's the only one whose blood is being affected by being exposed to that kind of radiation. No, there's no way. Now that Darcy and all of the other, agents have been absorbed into the dome, and all the people that are in there, like Norman and all of that, I don't see all of them getting powers, and you have to explain that away somehow. There has to be something that's particular about Monica, and why her being exposed to this kind of energy is gonna turn her into I mean photon, right? That's what we're all expecting. But just the fact that her blood work is being that her blood is being altered, there's something specific about her.
Real
And
quick,
it'd be amazing if it ends up being that she has the X gene that's dormant.
well, so real quick before you go, Nick, like on your point, Carlos, with that, like what is so special about Monica?
Yeah.
I'm thinking she's been exposed around Carol Danvers, who has a bunch of cosmic radiation around her.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I'm thinking it was just dormant there, and then this whole thing kind of activated, like you said. I don't want it to be the extreme. That's the main thing. Is I don't want it to be the
Yeah,
extreme.
right.
So
For her.
That throws a big wrench. That throws a big wrench into my theory.
so
Go for it, Nick.
I have a double theory, multiple
Good call,
theories.
though.
But
Good
my
call.
theory about
Good
this is I
comment.
think that both things that you're saying are happening at the same time. So because um Monica is the only person to have passed in and out multiple times besides Vision and Wanda.
Mhm.
I think that her exposure to all the cosmic energies she's dealt with have already altered her, because it said it's altering her multiple times. So
Yeah.
she's been altered having to deal with Captain Marvel, altered through going in the first time, altered the second time going out. So I think all that cosmic radiation is going to change her molecularly, so she becomes Photon or Miss Marvel. Let's say Miss Marvel. I think that would be a cooler idea to make her Miss Marvel. But I also think that the dome expanding is going to either activate eventually the X gene that already exists in the population, or it's going to implant the X gene in all these
Mm.
adults and these
Oh,
children. So the
that.
children, the X gene will start activating as they grow up after this is over. But the adults will now have the X gene that they won't get powers. So Norm won't have powers. Darcy won't get powers, but they will now have the possibility of spreading it when they reproduce, allowing their children to become mutants.
Yep.
And then the
I
people
agree.
that already have this X gene, maybe it activates in them as adults. So you'll get a couple people that get powers, but mostly it'll just allow it to now say, well, the X gene's a thing now. We know the X gene's a thing because the dome will now expand the entire world is gonna go over, or at least the entire country.
That's pretty good.
You definitely needed to activate an adult just to explain like Wolverine.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
But we could say that the X gene already existed because Wolverine is also Weapon X. So there was
Is he even a
experimentation.
mutant though? Because don't they put the liquid in him? He's not really a mutant, is
No,
he?
No,
he has
he
a
is.
mutant healing factor.
Yeah.
I don't read X-Men, but
His mutant ability is actually just being able to not die,
Yeah.
and they put the
right.
the
Claws in.
skeleton in
Bond.
him.
They bond
Right.
the adamantium
But he
to
also
him.
has the bone claws.
Oh, dude. So we have a comment from Pablio99 that WandaVision explanation Mojo.
You're talking about from X-Men, like the whole TV thing.
Huh.
Well, that's not his normal thing. You're thinking of the new X-Men, but
Yeah.
Mojoverse is a thing.
It
Oh,
is.
okay. That's
That's Mojo.
And you know what, man? Now thinking about it, dude, the fact that we have this whole like, TV show kind of thing.
Because he watches a lot of TVs in his laboratory, a bunch of screens.
That's right. That's kind of one of the things with the Mojo. That's not
With his
bad.
eyes like all peeled open and stuff.
Yeah,
That's a good suggestion.
Pablio 99. Is that what you're referring to?
So
Because that could introduce the mutants as well, man.
So I have one thing because I was saying who I think Agnes is. Okay, I
Go for it.
personally think because my theory is that mutants already exist in the world, but not in huge numbers, and Professor X and Magneto has been able to hidden the main characters that we know, but the X gene isn't as widespread as it gets in the early 2000s of comics. Because in the 90s it
Right.
wasn't as widespread, but in the 2000s
Right.
you had the X Academy and everything, and there's mutants everywhere. This is going to explain all those kids, and we might be able to get like an X Academy show. But what I think is, I think Agnes is Mystique.
Oh no.
Oh fuck.
No way. Don't say that.
Jesus, we're throwing more things on the wall than Marvel's throwing at the
You know
wall.
what I mean? You might as well say Pietro was Xavier. Oh.
So
Hey, he hasn't been wrong many times, Nick. He could be onto something
I've
here.
been right a lot. Like there's been a lot of things I said that I'm either like kind of on the cusp or I get it. So my theory here is because you have Pietro shows up. Okay, Pietro showed up. That's a Brotherhood of
I
Evil
still
Mutants.
think
Mystique.
Have you seen Pietro and Pietro and what's her name in the same room together? Agnes?
But
Agnes?
Mystique can't.
No, we haven't yet. No, yes, we did.
No, it could be a mistake. She could be playing both.
She'd be, yeah, but she couldn't be with. She couldn't be with Vision and with Wanda at the same time.
true.
But I think this thing is because she knows what's going on. Like Mystique is like a character that can disguise herself, so like her power might be messing with the ability, allowing her to like see what's going on and actually play a part of it. Being that she's like a good friend of Magneto, like maybe she went there to spy on Wanda because this shit was going down, like for Magneto, and kind of got you know that's my theory. It sounded really cool in my head, but I really think that if it's not Mephisto, which I don't think anymore, she's Mephisto. I think she's a big player, and I think we're playing in the X-Men territory, that's where we want as a team. We want it to be X-Men coming out. We want this to lead into X-Men.
For sure.
I think we start adding in the X gene with the dome, bringing Photon after all the radiation, allowing her to get her cosmic powers, um, and being that Rogue has a lot of ties to Miss Marvel or
Yes.
Carol Danvers, and that the biggest character that's tied to Rogue is Mystique because that's her adopted mother. I think this brings in the possibility to have all those characters fluctuate together the way it is. Because right now, a lot of things they're doing are very comic accurate. They do a lot of things that a lot of fan service. I think that she's got to be a big player. And the only big player I could see that ties in so close to Quicksilver and Wanda is Mystique. If it's female wise,
I think real quick before I pass it off to, or you Nick pass it off to someone else. I think that out of WandaVision, and this may be super bold and super out there, but I think out of WandaVision we're gonna get three things. We're gonna get uh Photon or Miss Marvel, like you mentioned, Nick. I think we're gonna get the X-Men somehow.
or at least mutants existing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's yeah, mutants existing or X-Men, mutants in some shape or form.
Yeah.
So Photon, mutants, and I still think that we're gonna get the Fantastic Four, either in the form of introducing Reed Richards, even if we don't see an actor, right? Even if we don't see an actor, but just like an end credit scene. And this was the other theory that I was gonna say for later, but right now is the perfect time. I think that at the very end of the entire season, or who knows, maybe even next episode, but I think it's gonna be at the end of the entire season. We haven't gotten a post credit scene yet in any episode. We haven't gotten any of that. So I think that at the very end, we're gonna get a Captain Marvel type of end credit scene where when Monica sent that text and she said I have a guy, or like I have a contact that's an aerospace engineer. I think that we're gonna get an end credit scene where it's gonna pan out to like outer space, and you're gonna see a shuttle or a space station or something, and her text message is gonna pop up on the screen with a message saying, "Hey, like I need your help," or I need this, I need that, coming from Monica Rambeau. And again, even if you don't get an actor, I think that there's gonna be like a nameplate, or there's gonna be
Yeah, but she's already meeting that guy. She's meeting that contact at the. They
Yeah, but
leave
this could
to
be
meet the
this could be
contact on the
like
bridge.
a prequel like flashback.
Yeah. Or what it could be is that for some reason this person doesn't actually like show up. I don't know, but that it ends up being, or again, he's on his way, or he never makes it, but it's like a prequel that at that moment in time you see again a nameplate or a paper or something that says Reed Richards on it.
I think the more
It says
Marvel
Reed Richards on it.
MCU thing
Huh?
they could do, because I know how they act, is that they're just gonna show Robbie the robot.
Dude, yes, yes.
Because
Something,
based on what they do all
something.
the time, how Feige works, like I'm telling you, that seems more of his. If he wants to introduce them, he's not gonna show them. He's not gonna mention them. He's just gonna show Robbie the robot, and then
Exactly.
somehow.
Or a hand stretching. Like
Yeah, but Robbie the robot would be like, how he shows Howard the Duck and the dog, and
Exactly.
that's his like thing. He likes to do like weird, obscure like side references that
Exactly.
you only know right away unless you know it.
Exactly. So that's what I think is something like that's gonna happen. Where again, even if you don't show the actors, or you don't show the arm stretching, whatever, it could at least be the introduction to like the Fantastic Four where they're out on a mission, and how they get the cosmic radiation and all of that. That story will come later, but at least introducing the idea that the Fantastic Four are out there. And I agree with Tron Dreamer. It has to be John Krasinski and it has to be Emily Blunt. I don't want anybody else.
Agreed. 100% agreed.
In my opinion,
Agreed.
I don't want
I
I don't want I don't want anybody else. There's other names that are being thrown out there. That's fine, but it has to be John Krasinski and it has to be Emily Blunt. So those are the three things that I want to finish off with, like my theories: Photon, mutants, and the Fantastic Four.
I agree.
And
I'm gonna add
it's a
one more
both play.
before I'm done. Is that
Dude, go for it.
AIM? AIM's got AIM, and the director is somehow like related to like Baron Zemo or something.
Fuck yeah, because we're gonna see Baron Zemo again, dude.
And what like Matt was saying before, we forgot about the Ultron thing. Oh, they're bringing back Ultron. That's why I think it's AIM. I think AIM is
Oh yeah,
trying to bring back Ultron using Vision's body.
through Project Cataract.
hi Carlo, what you thinking, dog? You go and
Yeah.
then I'll go.
Oh, I'm glad you asked. So I think Agatha Harkness
Yeah.
is going to be Agnes because in the comic books, in scripture, Agatha gave Wanda her powers. So there's like a big tie-in. Agatha Harkness has to be involved somehow. You heard it here.
Carlo, she's the old lady in the comics, right? That
Right.
really like the witch lady looking.
Right. So
And
I think
she's
in the
associated with
flashback,
Mystique.
that old lady that gave her the fish, that's Agatha. And Agatha can like transform her appearance. She's an older lady. So Agnes, she's an older lady. And she also has a cat, but her name is Ebony. But I think if they named the cat Ebony, it's like too much of a giveaway. Like, so Disney's trying to like give us like bits and pieces. So maybe that's why the cat's named differently, not Ebony. Um, so at the end of Doctor Strange, Dormammu is not defeated. He's still out there in space doing God stuff. Um, so he like his deal was, I don't have time for your games, Doctor Strange. I'm just gonna get out. So he's using Wanda to like get back in power, but he's still keeping his word. He's still not on Earth, so he needs like a vessel. He needs something to like say, "Here's Wanda, go mess stuff up and get revenge. Go kick Doctor Strange's ass," which is in the movie coming up later next year. So that's my theory, and I have all this evidence. So let me present some more.
Present your case. Present your case. Present your case.
Boy, Wanda on trial for murder.
Yeah, like Dormammu, he's bitter, he's butthurt, he's mad at Doctor Strange, so he's gaining control of Wanda because she lost her brother, she lost her hubby, and when do you get people to do your bidding when they're down in the dumps? Dormammu saw that, like that meme with a black dude behind the tree. He's like, yeah, now's my chance. Now's my chance to get Wanda under control. So that's what I think is going on. And I think Ultron 2.0 is coming out. I don't know how. I haven't connected all the dots yet. But yeah, Dormammu and
I just
Ultron
connected the dots for you, mate.
So what?
I connected the dots for you.
No, but Dormammu is behind everything. Trust me, it's behind it because he's mad at
Don't
Doctor
just
Strange.
remember when I brought up Dormammu like 3 episodes ago, and everyone told me no, I was being ridiculous.
You never brought him up.
I did. I was like, oh,
No.
Dormammu. And no, it's got to be Mephisto. It's got to be Mephisto because everybody wants to suck Mephisto. Like, this is
Yeah.
BS. I was like, oh, it could be Dormammu. And everyone's like, no, he's not that powerful.
Turns out to be Dormammu. Nobody give it to Nick. It's all Carlo. Sorry.
And it's in the comic book, too, like he's like he's about vengeance, revenge. He's bitter. So I don't know. I don't think it's Mephisto. Everybody's on that Mephisto hype. He's Mephisto. He's Mephisto. No, nobody's Mephisto. It's freaking Dormammu.
Well, look, Dormammu does deserve some justice, man, because I gotta be honest, he was the biggest disappointment to me in the Doctor Strange movie. Like, come on, that's not Dormammu. Like, it gave me weird what was it in Fantastic Four, like Storm Galactus or whatever bullshit that was. You know? I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, Matt.
Sandrina reckons a lot of people want Zac Efron as a Human Torch. I actually wouldn't mind seeing him as a Human
Dude,
Torch.
neither. Honestly, I
He'd be alright.
I'd be fine. I'd be
No,
fine.
don't shake your head,
he
Nuno. We
big?
know you got High School Musical sitting in your freaking library there. Don't nod your head.
His bitter attitude and everything, like everything about him physically is advanced compared to me, and I don't like that. I don't appreciate it. So forget that guy. All right, move on to the next guy. Nuno, what are your possible?
Yeah, what are your thoughts, Nuno?
Well,
Go for it.
I'll keep it simple because everyone was sharing all the info, and it pretty much like sums up a bunch of like plot lines that might be occurring. I just wanted to point out, which I forgot to mention earlier. So basically, Wanda has the grid, or it's set up in a way where it's like a video game. When you're moving around the video game, the environment is interacting with you. So that's the easiest way of looking at it. She's inside there, and it's like a video game. So that's why things aren't moving, because in a video game, you don't see the stuff going on behind you because it's always moving with you. So that's what I wanted to mention earlier. I noticed that it's like definitely like a video game, and that might tie into someone playing a game, or I don't know, you know. And also, my theories, like besides everyone covering them, is why did the dome turn blue to red? There has to be a significance in that. It's not because I'm friendly or I'm not. She was never really friendly. Well, what did it change, red or blue? Like what? You could just walk out when it was blue, then everybody would have just left. You know what I mean? Or the
I
people
think
that
it's
could
just
leave.
because she was just kind of doing her thing, and then red is when she like really took over, like because you
I
didn't.
don't know. The way I see
and
it,
and I was and I was and like I said, I think I mentioned it earlier. Like Tenet, man, they got the red and blue, so it's like one universe is red, the other universe is blue. So like they're happening simultaneously. So those colors were just popping in my head. As far as theories goes, I had the same ones as Matt. X-Men in the dome. I was trying to like kind of eyeball the kids and figure out maybe there's some hints there on
I
costumes.
mean, yeah, Pixie, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually rewatch it because you doing the costume thing, bringing that up.
I,
I'm gonna rewatch and have a look.
I forgot to say I loved Halloween Town, and that everything looked Halloween Town.
Oh, straight up, straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that they did. It's not anywhere. I didn't see anyone mention it anywhere in any articles, but it felt like Halloween Town. And you know, now that Carlo introduced Dorama into the whole mix, we got X-Men introduced. I mean, and I was gonna tell Nick Mystique, I don't mind. He touched her, wouldn't she have changed blue real quick because he like reverted her back, or she can control that? Maybe,
That is
right?
her mutant ability, and she's like a really I don't know, but like
Maybe, right?
but
Maybe.
her voice, like when he did that, like her voice didn't really change. Like as Norm's went from speaking a completely different way, you know, he was speaking a completely different way, and then changed. She's been speaking the same way basically, like no matter what time period they're in.
And I just want to say this. I want to thank Disney because they got one thing like super like correct. At the end, when everyone got engulfed in the dome, they turned all the police officer or feds into clowns.
Yo,
A circus. It's a circus. So yo, they killed that. That you don't have to say nothing anymore. But
What I
that's
love
all I
though,
have for my theories, like just
So my
over
question was this: how come?
No, you just woke up the woke nation, mate. Now the woke nation are gonna post that up and they're gonna get cancelled, isn't he?
When the dome was extending, to your point, like the cops turned into clowns, and I was like, oh, is this like a circus world now? But the dome keeps expanding, and the cars go back to like 50s, 60s style
Yeah,
cars. So,
the helicopter is a little balloon.
Yeah.
right. So it's not a circus world. She's going back into time, and maybe she's like, you know what? You guys messed up my plan. I'm gonna start all over.
oh
But
please
it
no,
didn't go
oh
back
please
into black
no.
and white. No, no. So it didn't go black and white because then it will be like a dead giveaway. It's gonna go back to the 50s and 60s. I hope it doesn't. But what other explanation can we gather from this new
Keep
information?
rebooting it. It's a reboot again.
That could just be that could be just a circus. Circus has
Yeah,
some
And
old
we
shit,
run,
bro.
and the last 3 episodes is the first episode and second episode, third and fourth are the last episode, and the season finale is what we just watched, all redone. We get the original Pietro. We get the original Pietro. She fixes all the glitches. You know what I mean? We get the original Pietro. You get the black and white, like Carlos said, and then the guys are just trying to intercept her. So I don't know. I like Carlo, but
Just to be
I'll
honest,
pass it on to
I
Nick.
like this Quicksilver
We can get
better.
on to the next topic. I like Evan
I like
Peters
the
better.
other one.
Really?
I like the original
I
one.
feel like
Yep.
he's a more fun character and kind of like.
That's why
makes me
that's
want
why
to
that
like-
he's gonna be
It makes me
Quicksilver because
want
he's
to
more of
like
a fun.
Quicksilver. Where in the like the '90s comics, Quicksilver just had problems and just was like a junkie basically, but no drugs.
But he looks
had
like a
he
geek,
literally had to
man. Like
move to the moon. He literally had to move to the moon because he just was too much of a problem and didn't want
he
to be a
just doesn't
problem.
look like a superhero to me. He doesn't look like a superhero, man. The
But
other
he's
ones
not.
look like a hero.
Quicksilver's a villain.
Well,
he's an
he doesn't look like a villain either. He looks like a the person that spends a lot of time in the library. I'm
If
trying to
they
say it
wanna go
nicely.
that way and bring back the original Quicksilver,
The
then
original one looks
you know
more
what they're
more
gonna do?
rough.
They're gonna put
more,
him
you
on the
know,
moon, and he's gonna end up hanging out with the Inhumans, and that shit sucks. Because he literally ends up with Crystal in the fucking comics.
All right, so that's everybody's thoughts. Anybody else have any theories or anything possibly?
I've just got one question.
Fuck
Can we ask in the
Mephisto.
questions part? I want to know everyone, and it's a quick, short answer, but in the next segment and final questions, I want to know who everyone thinks is this big cameo
Next
at the end.
Is the big what?
The big cameo, the big person that's meant to appear in the show.
Patrick Stewart.
Oh,
I
I
still
got a
think
good one.
I still think that is Professor Xavier.
Sir
I'm
Patrick
close
Stewart.
on you, but I got a better one.
Sure.
Save that for the last. Come on, Manny. Let's get on to the next segment.
No, this is part of it. Let it- Nick, go ahead.
Nick,
All right.
Final questions.
Two people. It could be two people.
One.
All right.
Can't have two.
I'm gonna go
I'll
with
name
Hank
every
McCoy.
single character in the world then.
It's gonna be Hank McCoy.
So wait, who? Which one? Like the guy from the '80s one, or Kelsey Grammer?
I don't know. I'm just gonna say it's gonna be Beast because he's a
Because
genius.
the clue is Paul Bettany's been wanting to work with this guy.
Yeah.
So does he really want to work with Kelsey Grammer? He's a pretty. I only know him as Frazier, so like, I don't really care to meet him. It's not that big of a cameo. It's in my head. And then the other guy, he's just a new actor for this new generation. So I mean, these would be cool, but actor wise, I don't think it matches what Paul was saying.
I still think
Maybe they said that to throw everyone off.
I still think it's Sir Patrick Stewart.
Nuno.
Me, I think it's Ultron. It just points to
He's
everything.
just coming in there with the. It's Hank Pym, bitch.
Hank Pym.
Mr. Fantastic Four.
It's the
Yeah, I reckon Fantastic Four.
You think he
Matt,
wants
you
to
think
work?
it's Fantastic Four too?
Yeah, I reckon. What's his name for Fantastic Four?
Reed Richards.
Or
Yeah.
my
It's gonna be
second
his
thing
long-ass arm.
is it's Forge. It's Forge.
But who? I think you got to look at the clue that he gave us. Paul Bettany said actor. This is the actor I've been wanting to act with.
Yeah, then they can act. They could cast anyone. They can bring in a new character and cast any
I think
actor.
character-wise, based off the comics,
I don't
it
think
makes
it's gonna. I
sense
think it's
if
gonna be
they
a
need
new
like someone
character.
who's a
we haven't seen.
scientist. It could be Hank McCoy. If they want to go X-Men route, it could be Hank McCoy or Forge or Sage. Or if you want to go the Fantastic Four route, then obviously it could be that, or it could be Victor Von Doom.
I'm gonna say Sir Ian McKellen. Because Magneto, Wanda, Pietro, that's all.
Yeah, but he's not a scientist, so that wouldn't make sense.
No, but it don't matter. He's gonna show up and be like, Wanda, open this up. Like start crushing shit.
It has to be someone smart. It would have to be someone smart.
Wait,
But I still think it would be Magneto. I don't have any clue on how.
I like that, man.
It would be
I like
cool
that.
if the third
Go on.
sibling showed up, if Polaris showed up and wrecked shit.
bro.
Like, yo, this is a family reunion. You ain't gonna talk about me, bitch.
Yeah. Literally, you forgot about me. She's like, I don't remember having a sister, and she says the same thing that Evan said. We remember things differently, because she was so mean and stuff to them or something. That's a good one, Nick. Nick.
So if you look at the MCU lineup, like the future and Phase 4, you don't have any X-Men movies coming up. So I don't think it's gonna be the Beast. I think it's gonna be Reed Richards.
That's because I haven't announced it. They're not going to announce any
the
X-Men.
MCU lineup. It's planned. It's in production or whatever.
So at the end of WandaVision, when WandaVision finishes and they introduce the X-Men, then guess what? You're gonna get all these announcements for all these X-Men movies.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. They've got it slated in all the movies. They just haven't announced the X-Men. That's their big trump card, man. That's their their
Why
card.
else would they have bought Fox?
Listen to Matt, everyone. He's the number
reason
one
that
fan.
Disney
Number
bought
one
Fox
fan.
is for the X-Men and Fantastic Four.
Well, that just leads into the questions part, which I don't really have any questions except other than Hayward's line. I don't know if it was a throwaway question or not a question. I mean, yeah, it could have been just a throwaway line, but the fact that they like got the camera in his face and everything. When Vision was coming out of the dome, Hayward says, "Yeah, you really want to get out there, don't you? Like, you really want to leave there? Like, yeah, he wants to leave. Why do you think he doesn't? Like, what? It was a weird thing to just throw out there, just to say, you really want to get out of that dome, don't you? And then that was it. They didn't go back to it. They didn't mention it. Hayward said, "Oh shit, the dome's getting bigger. Let's get out." Like that, that was it. And they just, I don't know. I feel like that might play into something in the future. Maybe it was just a throwaway line, but that's like a question that I have. But other than that, I mean, I don't really have any questions.
Yeah, me neither. I'm just looking forward to
my
next.
question. My question is, how the hell are they gonna answer all these goddamn questions they keep posing for us?
Yeah, that mate. I'm telling you, this last episode is going to need to deliver. It's going to need to deliver, as a lot of people are going to be
If
disappointed.
the theories are right and the rumors are right about the next couple episodes being longer, then hopefully, like, that gives them more of a room to work.
I mean, hour-long episodes. Fuck, man, we're basically gonna get an endgame type,
Yeah, 3 hours. Yeah.
This is the setup
Funny.
for Phase 4. I think there's just a lot of groundwork for Phase
Yeah.
4, so we're not gonna get a lot of questions answered.
I want to put this out there. I still think we're gonna get some kind of Young Avengers reference or build up because we already have the groundwork there. Now with Wiccan and Speed and Kate Bishop,
Yep.
you know,
Yeah.
with 3 of the components
Miss
already
Marvel.
there, and Kid Loki kind of being teased.
Miss Marvel, I think she could play a part of this iteration of
She could
the
be
Young
their
Avengers.
leader. She could be like
I
their
think
mentor.
they'll do it at the last TV show is when they'll form the Young Avengers. The Young Avengers will be done, and they'll be a TV show, not a film.
Because
know what,
they can bring Patriot in through Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yep.
They can use Miss Marvel as Photon Monica to be like their mentor, as like the older person that brings these kids together. Because we don't know what's gonna happen in Phase 4. There needs to be some kind of big event, and maybe that big event ends up with all the main Avengers not being able to do anything. So you need She-Hulk. You need Kate Bishop. You need all these people to come together and form like the B team Avengers, like we've had in the past.
Or
Like,
Shang-Chi.
when you get like
New
in
Avengers.
the 90s,
New
you had the 90s.
New Avengers. New
I love
Avengers.
the optimism, but
New
the Snyder
Avengers.
cut
Because
is coming, so
back
it
in the
might
2000s,
change
you had the Mighty
everyone's
Avengers and you had the
perspective
New
on
Avengers.
things.
And the New
People
Avengers
might
was
start
what?
thinking
Luke
they're just
Cage,
superheroes.
Spider-Man, Wolverine.
Shang-Chi. Everyone forgets about Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi.
That's gonna be dope. That's
Shang-Chi,
gonna
my
be a
boy.
dope-
Well,
gonna
yeah,
be
he's
dope
gonna be
one.
because you know what? They already fucked up Iron Fist. It's Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi is gonna be the Iron Fist version of the MCU.
Blade.
Oof.
How about ratings, guys? We ain't rate the episode yet, Manny.
Oh, it's true.
Oh well, before you guys say all that, I was waiting for y'all to finish. You guys mentioned Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel. You guys mentioned X-Men, which specifically in my head, Cyclops. You guys mentioned, I guess, Wiccan and Wiccan and Speed could kind of do something with this, and Kate Bishop. I think New Avengers is obviously like the obvious route, but if you're gonna use Miss Marvel, I think the better route.
Avengers.
No, the better route would be Champions.
Champions. Oh yeah, Champions.
I would love that personally because I love the Champions storyline. They're great, they're amazing, but you would need Miles Morales and you would need Nova, the kid. I forget his name.
Well, you can easily get Nova, as in like, because you have the Nova Corps exists in the MCU. Nova Corps exists. Easily a kid could get a hold of Nova Corp tech and become Nova.
Yeah.
And Miles Morales.
Where the
exists
hell
'cause
is
he's-
Richard Rider? Where is Richard Rider?
Yeah, but Manny, you're specifically referring to Sam Alexander, right?
Alexander, who is a kid who found the helmet.
The helmet,
Oh,
yeah.
really? I haven't read Champions. There's a different.
Was he the
Nova?
rip-off Doctor Fate rip-off?
It's not a Dr. Fate ripoff. He's a cosmic, like, police officer, basically.
I was a Green Lantern rip-off. All right. Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. The
But-
Nova Corps is the Green Lantern Corps. basically.
Yo.
There's no theory, but that just leads us to the final part, which is part 3, ratings. Again, 10, 10, 10. This is amazing. Everything is a 10. It does not stop every time.
Damn, Manny, you're sounding like Carlo and Carlos and Nick. Damn.
Carlo and Carlo Jr. here.
Hey, I don't give high ratings.
Yeah, you do, Nick. You're like, I'm gonna let it build up. It's a 9.8 out of 10.
I said it was an 8.5.
I'm joking, dog.
This is a 10. My dogs, my cats, they're a 10. My wife. Matt, what's your rating?
What did I do last week? 8, didn't I?
I don't know. I heard you say 10, but
Yeah.
Nah. 8.5. I like to give room to breathe, because once I hear Carlo not give it a 10, he's going to give it to Bruno. 8.5. 8.5. 8.5.
I agree with
Nuno?
that. I give it an 8.
Nuno disappeared into his background. Nuno did the vision. He did the vision and just phew.
We'll come back.
Look,
We'll come back to Nuno.
I-
Yeah,
Carlo?
I'm gonna give it an 8.5 also.
I got a 9.5 on this one. I got a 9.5 on this one, and just
Drum roll.
I'm gonna go ahead with a 8.75.
nice.
Didn't think we came better
Nuno's
like that
gone.
this time.
Nuno's gone, but he did text me. He messaged me. He said he gave it a 10. All right, so don't question me. He gave it a 10. Oh wait, what's up, Nuno?
He reappeared. Did the vision
got-
just come through?
Nuno, what's your rating?
I'd have to keep it. I think I said last week it was like an 8, 8.5.
Oh,
I'd have
you just texted me. You told me 10.
You weren't supposed to say that, man. Come on. I told you for the stream podcast, I'm dropping it low because everyone keeps giving it high ratings. So I'm gonna be that one oddball. No, but I'm thinking an 8 is like 8.8, 8.5 is like very
I
respectful.
think we all
I don't
agree.
think- That's me. I'll pass it on to the next guy.
Is it? You were the last one.
You the last guy.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Like final thoughts overall though is what I'm loving about this show is that it has people playing fucking detective.
Yep.
And that to me is special. The fact that it keeps the audience and everyone, that's interested in this show so engaged. And you know what? At this point, we're invested. Whether you're rating it an 8, 8.5, or whether you're rating it a 10, at this point you're invested. You want to know what happens, and not because you just want to get through it, but because you care about what this is gonna lead into. And it doesn't feel like it's just a setup. It doesn't feel like a cheap way that Marvel was just, putting the laying down the foundation for the next phase. It feels like something really is happening with Wanda, and that there's character development for everybody, throughout the series. And I think it's just a testament to what Marvel is doing, and the fact that Phase 4 could potentially be just as special as all the phases before that. And I'm just loving the show. And again, I think that how invested people are is just a testament to how well this show has been produced. Yeah, those are my final thoughts.
Before we end this show, I'd just like to say, because we're a day ahead of you guys in Australia, happy Valentine's Day. I've enjoyed spending Valentine's morning with you guys, so I appreciate it.
Yes.
Likewise.
Guys.
Likewise. Well, we still having that match. That doesn't mean anything. Don't try to butter up or sweeten up anything. It's still going down.
Have you guys?
This is gonna be a cage match.
Have you guys played Among Us at all? Any of you?
I played it a couple.
No,
times.
we should jump on that. We should jump on that.
You should. One, but the only reason I bring it up is when Jimmy just sucker punched that soldier, and Monica immediately jumped on the other guy, and like it was nice, and Darcy was like, "Oh, nobody told me the plan." Honestly, I immediately thought of Among Us because like when 2 imposters are around 2 crewmates, and one imposter, obviously you can't talk, so one kills one, you're hoping that your imposter buddy will kill the other one, and then y'all run away or whatever, right? And I feel like that's what Jimmy Woo is like. All right, I'm gonna punch this guy. I really hope somebody else punches because they didn't say anything. They didn't make a plan or anything. So he just punched. And like, what if Monica would have been like, Jimmy, what are you doing? Why'd you do that? Like he would have gotten fucked up. But I just brought it up because that's exactly what I felt like when I saw that scene. I was like, damn, he took a chance and it worked out. But
Bro, Jimmy Woo forever. He deserves his own show more than anybody else.
We need an Agents of Atlas show.
Yes, with Jimmy Woo as the head. We need that. We need that.
I have a feeling that this isn't Sword has been screwed over, and it's gonna have to dissolve, and he's gonna be able to bring back Sword as through Agents of Atlas.
Jimmy Woo, man. Jimmy Woo.
As long as his show's theme song is "Woo" by Pop Smoke, all good.
Yo, shout out New York.
all right,
R.I.P. Pop Smoke.
Jimmy Woo is the bad guy. That's the note we're gonna end on.
Jimmy Woo is Mephisto.
Mephisto. Thank you guys for joining us again. If you're not following us, please give us a follow. If you can't make it live, we're on YouTube. Go over there, give us a like, subscribe, get the notifications turned on. And if you don't like watching YouTube videos or anything like that, we are on podcast channels like Spotify, Apple, Google, and Anchor. So you can always listen to us on your own time. But yeah, that's it. Pretty much the whole show. Until next week. See you
Thanks,
guys.
everybody.
Thanks, guys. Happy Valentine's Day.
All right, that's it. We're done.